Mhm. Hey, hey, y'all. Welcome to another edition of Built Through Broadcast with the Emerald Green Collective. I am co host Coach Shantae, and with me is the amazing coach Shayola Benta. And today we're going to be doing a little conversation about the fibroid frequency. Stay tuned. Welcome back. So, today we are really excited about continuing our conversations about health and wellness. Last month was Men's Health Awareness Month, so we touched on several different subjects that are specific to the men. And this month, when we were looking at what the observances are and as it relates to health and wellness, fibroids was something that really stood out and it was like a no-brainer. So we're going from men's health straight into the uterus by way of fibroid health. So I want to kick it over to you, Coach Shayola. What has been something that you have noticed with fibroids over the years, with just the women that you've worked with? Even if you yourself have experienced it, what has been your experience thus far with fibroids?
Well, first off, greetings, family. Thank you for coming back to connect with us. Definitely drop in the chat or in the comments where you're calling from, where you are chiming in from, and all the things. Fibroids has really been a topic of conversation, really from young for me. Fibroids started for me probably around early 20s. And it's actually something that my mom had and my aunt had, right? So it's very easy to say, oh, well, maybe it's hereditary. What I learned about them when I went through the Sacred Woman journey is that it is really calcified mucus. And I think it's important to highlight this session. We'll do like an overview, and then the weeks to follow, we'll do specifically the mind, body, and spirit as it relates to fibroids. But Queen Afua said something to me, or something to us, because I don't think it was just me, that still stands out today. That although it's calcified mucus, it is also a blow to the feminine ego. And it resonates with me because I could remember just throughout going through womanhood how I have taken blows, albeit not feeling good enough or not feeling voluptuous enough, if you will, for some of the partners that I have engaged with, over the years. So definitely feeling as though it played a huge part. But I do know that the diet played a tremendous part of my fibroid journey. Again, that calcified mucus is real. And I've shared, time and time again, in my early years, especially in college, my diet was literally horrific. So, and even in high school, like every day was a toasted butter and bagel with a coffee light and sweet. That was my thing. So all of that bread, the sugar, I know it was probably regular milk then. All of that just culminated in the body. So this topic was near and dear. Again, my mom really went through it. And of course, when you're in a household with women, you take on the same menstrual cycle in many cases. And it was just definitely, a thing. I had to have surgery to have 10 of them removed, right? Because in that time and space in my life, I knew very little about fibroids and what they were and how they were caused. And there was one fibroid that they said, we're just going to leave it in there. We're not going to even touch it because of where it's located, especially if you're looking to become pregnant. And then pregnancy came about, and that fibroid reared its not so pretty head. So now, it's a whole nother journey, which I'm very happy to embark upon, but is real in the field.
Definitely. Welcome back, Coach Latoya. I saw you come in and then go off.
Yeah.
Just getting our
Yes.
introduction. What has been your experience, if any, with fibroids, or is there anything that you want to share with the people while you are in the hot?
She's like, hold on, let me get all the technology in order.
Yeah, it sometimes weird stuff goes on, but we'll
Mm-hmm.
give you a moment to gather your thoughts and your technology and whatnot. So when it comes to fibroids, this is definitely something that's new to me as far as uterine fibroids is concerned. I realized and discovered, let's see, early 2013, well, late 2013, and then again in 2019, going into 2020. My family has fibrocystic breast. So instead of
Mm-hmm.
the growth in the uterus, we get them in the breast. And I had in 2013 one that was particularly large and painful when I was transitioning from Birmingham, Alabama, back to Dothan, Alabama, having that whole experience of being in a domestic violence shelter with my son and moving back down here and the stress that it put on my body and mind and spirit and all these things. So when I came back down here, I had it was probably a little bit bigger than the size of a golf ball in my left
Mm-hmm.
that I had to go and have checked out. And, they were like, well, it's not cancerous. We don't see anything. It seems to be shrinking on its own, so we're not going to take any action. But then later on in 2019, it came back again. It wasn't as painful that time, but and it wasn't as big that time either. But it was cause for concern, so they wanted to check it out again and again. Well, it's not cancerous. There's nothing that we can do about it. It seems to be shrinking, and so they didn't do anything. It was a
Mm-hmm.
experience, but that has been my experience with fibroids. My family tends to have them in the breast versus in the uterus, uh, on the ovary, as opposed to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. You know what? I haven't even given it much thought as it relates to the breast, but it is like, duh, it can definitely occur there as well. In the description, I put that 25% of melanated women experience um, fibroids, opposed to the 6% of Caucasian women. And it's just, we know that the state of the womb, even the breast, right? Because that's how we nurture. The womb is the seat of creation. So if the seat of creation is in disease and distress, the state of the breast is in disease and distress, then, you know, and it's a reflection of the planet, it definitely is cause for us to go in and out. So it looks like Coach Latoya is having some challenges with her sound. So she's just trying to get her technology straight. But sis, whenever you're ready to unmute, feel free. Let's see if we can hear you. Let's see. All right, she's still working it out. So one of the things that I have decided to do, greetings, Candace. Thank you so much for Constance, excuse me. Thank you for coming in to do, or what led me partly to the Yoni Steam practitioner journey, is to learn how to manage my womb space, my vaginal space, and help others do the same. So now my whole thing is with pregnancy and all the things, just really focusing on the womb care to include, within that the time frame, yoni steaming for sure. Whether it is estrogen balance, which by the way is the main contributor to fibroids. So I wanted to kind of give some perspective on that. If I can get into my phone. Again, fibroids, no matter where they are located, is literally calcified mucus. What's calcified mucus? The hardening of it. It's just mucus that has not digested through the body and it gets trapped, right? So when we experience estrogen dominance, let's see, Coach Latoya is trying to come back in. When we experience estrogen dominance, it can cause anxiety, PMS, migraines, endometriosis, which I also had like around the age 16, tender breasts, impatience, insomnia, and night sweats. So, the estrogen is everywhere, right? It's just like a collection of hormones, but it is being fed to us in drastic ways. So it's important for us to know, not necessarily just melanated women, but women, period, to understand when we should be taking in and can take in more estrogen and when we should absolutely not. I'm working with a young lady right now who is now looking to give birth. And part of my research is just trying to share with her what she should eat, when, and even how much of it and what time to eat it so that her body can find that balance. But during the follicular and ovulation stages, we should definitely decrease the amount of estrogen that we are taking in because the body naturally produces it. So let's see one more again. Coach Latoya, you want to unmute to see if you can be heard?
Okay, I can hear y'all now. I was like, what's going on? I couldn't hear. I don't know why.
Well, it must mean that you are meant to drop some jewels on us today. So Coach Shante, can you ask Coach Latoya again what the question was? But I don't even know if I remember.
Absolutely. So the question at hand is, what is your experience, whether personally or with someone that you worked with or within your family, with fibroids? And again, we're going to expand this, not just fibroids of the uterus, but fibroids in the breast or cysts on the ovary.
Okay, as far as personally, I haven't had any experiences with like fibroid on the ovary, but definitely cysts in the breast area. I have experienced. I know sometimes it's related to menstruation, but also due to a plethora of things that has been shared on our page and whatever. But yes, I've definitely experienced those. I find that those have gone away; they disappeared. There is one that has been there for years, and I'm not sure what that is. Why doctors don't really seem to be concerned about it, which to me, is still in the back of my mind, like what, but I do feel like it's a multitude of reasons probably why that is still there, even after all of these years, after I've done a lot of lifestyle changes. To me, it must be something much more deeper. I feel like looking back at what I was going through emotionally at that time, I think around that time I recently moved away from home. I think, and maybe I didn't realize how much that may have impacted me, and it's in the breast area. So the main thing that happened. As far as in my family, I really honestly haven't had as many major discussions about that with my family, to be honest. But I wouldn't be surprised if people share that, because I find that when you just have conversations with women just in general about health and about the womb, you know, people share their story. So and a lot of times women have experienced that, you know, dealing with the fibroids or whatnot. But that's pretty much it as far as that. Mostly it was the breast area and those have come and then go away. But then there is one that loosens up, but that's it. Yeah.
So thank you both very much for sharing your journey and experience with fibroids. I know that it is something that can be very sensitive when it comes to open dialogue discussions. So I am really, really grateful that we have cultivated this space for us to address this subject and to bring awareness for other sisters who may be struggling with this particular issue. So we've talked a little bit about some of the causes of fibroids being, you know, estrogen being one of the main causes. And we also briefly touched on mucus and that being one of the causes as well. And Coach Shayola and Coach Latoya, my question for you is, as we've been on our journey of holistic wellness, living a natural lifestyle, have you found that, and we've kind of touched on this already, that dietary changes, cutting out flesh foods, cutting out dairy, cutting out processed foods and sugars, have you found that to be um, a healing piece of the puzzle to eliminating and reducing the reappearance or reemergence of fibroids within your body?
You want to take that one first, Coach Latoya?
Oh, yes, I could take that. Yeah, I will definitely say that just in general, when it comes to shifting your choices in food, eating more plant-based foods, releasing a lot of the flesh and a lot of the sugars and all of those things will impact your health. You, even when it comes to like your cycles, your menstruation experience. I know for me there's times where I sometimes forget that I'm about to be on the. I'm the only main thing is my moods. My moods change or whatnot. But you know, when I do have more tenderness in even my breast area, I find that it's maybe because I was eating something that was more sugary, or you know, even though it's plant based, and even though I may make it, you know, it still can happen. Like you just have to keep those things in mind or whatnot. So nobody is exempt from it, no matter what, you know. So that's the biggest thing. But absolutely, that right there will help to at least lessen the symptoms, even if you do suffer from the fibroids and may go through the pain. I do believe that those will be preventative measures and also lessen the pain or whatnot. But there's also other aspects of it, you know, that that I believe Coach Shayola may have mentioned or shared or had a post about it or something, as far as different products that you use too. Like the different products that may be in your makeup or whatever the case may be. Like, so those are the things to keep in mind too, that can also impact your experiences with that.
Touche. Yeah, I mean, honestly, and I said this to a doctor once when I was experiencing, you know, fibroid issues like hard body. She was like, well, maybe what you want to do is take some Motrin the week or a few days before your cycle starts to help kind of even that out. And what I know to be true, and this is my, you know, from my story, my experience was when I started to fast and detox, my cycles were 3 days or less. So I know that I know if I pay attention to the week before my cycle and the week of my cycle as it relates to what I'm eating, what I'm listening to, what I'm ingesting, period, that it has a major effect on my cycle. They also would tell us, oh, you want to do birth control. When I was young, we didn't know any better. That's definitely something that we did, which I think caused it to be worse. So to answer your question, did the lifestyle change the dynamic of fibroids for me? Absolutely. It really, really did. And I'm a proponent of it because I know my before and after. And just knowing that pregnancy for me had been a thing. It had been hard to have viable pregnancies, but changing and shifting obviously changed that outcome. But again, now the goal is going to be, now that I remember, oh, wait, that fibroid is still there. Coach Latoya said something pivotal. It means that you have to go deeper now. And it can also, I remember once someone telling me it could be mama, mama womb, mama earth, saying, I need you to slow down and listen. I'll stop everything. I will back it up if you do not slow down and pay attention to what it is that I'm trying to tell you. So, hands down, I feel that you may not need all of those things, depending on where you are in your journey, if you really paid attention to what it is that you were eating, not eating, your minerals and your vitamins.
Absolutely. Thank both of you for those shares, like very much. Because that it really does make a huge difference. And I know from my experience, like I said, with the growth on my breast, that spot is still there, but the mucus, the congestion, and all of that is not. I remember when I went back for my final checkup, um, they were asking me what I had been doing to get to that space because I was much healthier when I went back for that final exam than I was when I initially went in. So I was telling them about the lifestyle changes that I had made and all of those different things. And it was just really eye-opening because that was something outside of their scope of study. Like most of the doctors that we are affiliating ourselves with are only looking at our body. They're only looking at the physical presentation that we come to them with. And there's not a whole lot of questions or insight about the rest of the stuff that goes along with that.
Mm.
So that felt really, really great. And I had been, I hadn't had any issues with that cyst for a long period of time. And I was excited. I was happy. I had done, my 21-day detox with Queen Afua. I had continued the lifestyle, did not reintroduce any type of milk, dairy, cheese, eggs. I don't like eggs, but I didn't introduce any of that stuff back into my diet. But I realized I still had to cut out processed foods because if you're not careful with reading the labels with processed foods, you will ingest milk, dairy in some kind of way. And I realized that every time I would eat certain things, that spot would fill up with fluid. And I was like, okay, now what's causing this? I realized what it was. So I completely stopped. The thing that really confirmed it for me was that I had found this salad dressing. And this salad dressing was so good. Did I tell y'all that salad dressing was delicious? You remember me telling you about that
I
salad
do.
dressing?
I remember.
It was good. That salad dressing was delicious. But the issue was they had a vegan goddess salad dressing and a green goddess salad dressing. The vegan goddess salad dressing was vegan, no meat, or excuse me, no dairy, no milk, none of that was in there. But the green goddess dressing, like the second ingredient was like buttermilk or skim milk or something along those lines. And I didn't realize that I grabbed the regular green goddess and I started to feel that growth coming back. And I was like, why is that there? I've not been eating anything that is on my list of do not. I don't understand what's going on. And spirit just dropped right down in here, read the back of the bottle. And I was like, it's not that. I'll read it anyway. So I flip it over and read it. Second ingredient was milk. And I was just like, oh.
The second ingredient?
Second. It was up there. First or second ingredient. And I was
Wow.
just devastated because, number one, that's not a salad dressing that I can buy in my hometown. So I have to drive an hour and a half either to Montgomery or to Tallahassee to go to a store that actually carries this salad dressing. And it's like $8 a bottle. So I'm like committed to this salad dressing until I couldn't be committed to it anymore. I had a whole other bottle in there that hadn't been opened yet. I was just so sad. But because I understand my wellness and I understood what my body was communicating with me, I went ahead and let that go, and it resolved itself on its own. It went back to normal, and I didn't have any further issues with that particular area, and I haven't since then, which has been absolutely amazing. So I hope that as you all are listening to each of us share our experiences, that you are having some aha moments, something that is getting you to thinking about yourself, thinking about your mom, aunts, grandmas, cousins, your sisters, close friends that you may have that may also be having these same experiences and need some additional insight to help them get into a better state of health. Um, One more question for you, ladies. Um, we have at our disposal so many resources, whether it is books or our community with one another, or teachings that we have listened in from Queen Afua. What would you recommend for someone who is just really getting started on this holistic lifestyle journey, who's having some womb issues with fibroids, as a place to get started with healing in a holistic way? What are some things that you would recommend?
Well, I definitely will recommend, I know it can be a heavy read, but Sacred Woman. I think that book opens the door for a lot of overstanding and yoni steaming, for sure, inversions, massages of the womb, um, and removing any whites that you can from your diet, from like now, white sugar, white flour, white pasta, white rices. Um, yeah, like things that you can do like right now. I think that's where I would start.
Okay. And for you, Coach Latoya?
Yes, I feel like what Coach Shayola mentioned is excellent, and I would also just say it's probably already been mentioned before, but just, doing some form of a detox, whether it's quarterly or at least at minimum once a year, if you can't do it, quarterly or whatnot, just so you can see the difference in your body when you do like a fast. So, when we always talk about going a step up, so you eat flesh, then go vegetarian, vegan, raw, juicing or whatnot. And from, and see how your body is, observe it, see how your body responds to different foods that you may love or may not love, and you'll see that your palate will definitely get more more refined, more when you do these fasts, and then it'll be easier for you to eat healthier, and then you won't have as many issues with the fibroids or whatnot. And I also would recommend just making sure that you do everything gradual. Don't feel the pressure to do everything at one time. I highly also veg you back on the Sacred Woman. That really is powerful because it's holistic. It has everything in that, because as you start to be more mindful of your food, you're going to see that other stuff comes up. When I decided to transition to raw, which was not an intentional thing, I just wanted to eat more raw. But, I found that I was definitely delving even deeper into the emotional and the spiritual aspects of my life or whatnot. And I did find that the cyst definitely went down drastically. And now that I think about it, kind of getting a little off topic, I realized that at that time, not only did I move, but I definitely was going through some things at that time where I felt like I was not being heard my and that I was expressing things and that I was not being heard. I recall that. And also I was eating cooked vegan, and I was eating a lot of more mock than I don't eat no mock now. So everything is so I now see how some of those things could have definitely contributed to that forming, all of those things or whatnot. But yeah, it's just more so about paying close attention to what you eat and how you feel at that time, and also how you feel emotionally. What I mean, feeling is emotionally, but also physically, and go from there. Just know that this is a gradual thing. This is a lifelong, healing. And sometimes as you're going, even when you get to where I'm at with raw, you still go through things. It doesn't stop at all. So that's my biggest thing, is just take it one day at a time.
Beautiful. Thank you, ladies. Go
Indeed.
ahead, Coach Taylor.
I was going to say, indeed. I just wanted to get to this comment from Constance, which we hear so often, because in that appointment that I was telling y'all about, this was definitely the third option. She says, what do y'all say for women who have had fibroids and had uterus removed because misdiagnosed? And the only solution was to completely remove the uterus beyond repairs. Unfortunately, this happened to me. Therefore, I am now trying to find balance and hormones and lose weight that I have gained because of this misdiagnosed for several years. I am now 100% overweight. I am not a big eater, and it's hard for me to eat several meals a day. Medical community suggested. I am 100% menopausal. And then she asks for the author of the book that we have shared, which I put in the comments section. So I'm almost going to guarantee, you can't guarantee anything, that you had a male doctor. Male doctors definitely are more inclined to suggest a hysterectomy when you are having issues with your womb. And it's so it's like we have men telling us how we should care for our wombs, not saying that they. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it there. We'll dive deeper into that during the month as we continue the conversation. First off, I would like to say that I'm sorry that this has happened to you, because a lot of women are definitely misdiagnosed, and again, they are usually. It's usually suggested, just go ahead. If you're not going to have any more children, just let it go, right? How do you find balance? Again, that book is probably going to be a good start for you, because there has to be a reconnection with your womb space. Oftentimes, a lot of the women that I have helped, once the hysterectomy has taken place, it's just like, well, I don't have that organ there anymore, so I don't really need to connect with anything. And that's certainly far from the truth. So the detox that we offer may also be a good start for you, just to begin to connect mind, body, and spirit and bring it back to the food. And depending how much you give to it, can help you reduce some of the weight, the physical weight, the waste, and the heaviness that you may be feeling in your heart and within your mind. It's hard for you you're not a big eater. Not being a big eater can also cause you to gain more weight if you're not moving through the process safely. Because if you're not eating, the body doesn't know what's happening. So we'll go into a survival mode. And that survival mode is kind of like, we're just going to hold on to the energy that we have, because we don't know when we're going to eat again. So we want to be careful with that. But perhaps a consultation with one of us can help you really get specifically what you would need. But I would suggest, first and foremost, hopefully you're taking in water, to help minimize storing the excess weight, getting the book Sacred Woman to begin to open up the dialogue with you and your womb so that you can find that balance and that harmony, not harbor any guilt, shame, or fear for the decisions that you did make as it relates to that undiagnosed or that misdiagnosis. Ladies, anything that you would add on to Constance or the comment and the feedback that I have given?
I wouldn't add a whole lot, but I did pull this book out as well. This is by Queen Afua, Overcoming an Angry Vagina. And
Indeed.
this one is also a really, really, this is essentially like your Sacred Woman pocket guide. It's
Yes.
not exactly the same as Sacred Woman, but as far as specifically connecting to your womb, this book is going to go into great detail of how you can use a natural holistic lifestyle specifically to treat your womb, to reconnect, excuse me, not treat your womb, but to heal your womb and to really just get you into those practices. Sacred Woman is definitely an amazing read, and I highly recommend that to all women at least some point in your life to read through that book and to go through the gateways and give yourself that experience and take that journey because there's a lot of benefit to it. One thing that I do know about not having your womb, for a lot of women, that can lead to feeling like disconnected from your femininity and disconnected from your divinity. And not having a uterus does not in any way, shape, or form stop you from being a woman or having the ability to connect with yourself in that way. Just because the organ itself is not there does not mean that that energy is gone from you. So you can still connect with the energy of your womb that you were created with. You can still connect with your body. You can still place hands over your pelvic region to do your affirmations, do your massages, do your inversions, all of those things. Continue to still take care of yourself and just focus in on self-awareness because that's the one key thing that I've heard from both Coach Latoya and Coach Shayola is that self-awareness. Listen to your body, hear what it is that she is communicating to you, and make adjustments as needed. And if you do need guidance and support along the journey, we are absolutely here and happy to assist. Our 21-day fall detox is coming up this September. We'll be doing our kickoff August the 27th. That'll give you time to purchase all of the things that you'll be needing. And you can just join us for that, walk with us through this journey, and allow us to assist you with getting a jump start on your health and wellness goals. Anything from you, Coach Latoya?
I think y'all said it all. There's nothing else much to add. I think another thing as far as just balancing it is taking spiritual baths. I'm just getting more in tune with doing more creative activities, things that will connect you to your creativity. And, that's pretty much it. I feel like y'all definitely have shared a lot of great information.
Give many, many thanks. So, Coach Shayola, any last words to take us out?
See y'all next week.
Indeed. We'll see you guys here, same time, same place. We'll be chatting even more about fibroids and helping to get more of this healing information and energy out to the people. If you or a sister that you love are in the challenges of fibroids right now, recently had your womb removed and you're looking for a path forward, join us here at the Emerald Green Collective on Fridays. Join us on social media, Facebook, the Emerald Green Collective, Instagram, Emerald_Green_Collective, and inbox us. Feel free to communicate, ask us your questions, and we are more than happy to assist. Until next time.
Peace, y'all.